This Tuesday, Ecuador's government says it would be open to mediation via the United Nations or the Catholic Church. This as more protests are planned after almost a week of blowback against the dropping of fuel subsidies. They've sparked violence and hundreds of arrests. Ecuador's President Lenin Moreno moving his cabinet outside of the capital, alleging he's the target of a coup attempt, something that's denounced or denied rather by his predecessor. Pablo Correa. For more, let's go to Quito and journalist Juan Diego Valdivieso Rowland, who joins us now. Thank you for speaking with us here on France 24. First of all, what's the latest from Quito where you are right now?
Thank you very much. Yes, thank you very much for inviting me. The latest current situation in Ecuador is that, yesterday we had some problems in the town center of Quito, which is the capital. Many demonstrators were protesting against the economic measures that the government implemented, which is the withdrawal of subsidies. And we had some roots of violence among protesters and police. We had the problem that in the old town, people were protesting against these economic measures. Therefore, many people were arriving from the north and the south of the country to the capital. Approximately 30,000 indigenous people arrived to Quito since yesterday night until today, and they are concentrating in the city, demonstrating against the government, which has implemented the IMF measures that were meant to be applied in Ecuador since February, because this country has signed an agreement with the International Monetary Fund in order to have some new loans so that the country is ready to have a very big impact in terms of economic development and other sort of measures. So the situation is
Juan Diego,
tense.
We're confused about this claim by Lenin Moreno that there's this alleged coup attempt possibly in the moving of his cabinet. How are people reacting to that news?
Exactly. The president last week, through an executive decree, implemented the state of emergency, which means that the government can also move its venue to other cities, which that effectively happened yesterday when the government moved temporarily to Guayaquil due to the pressure of indigenous people and other groups that are continuously arriving to Quito. The main thing that the indigenous people and some percentage of the population are claiming is that they are against the withdrawal of the subsidies to fuel oil and other sort of fuels. This is because of the IMF claim. So the problem is that the actual president, Lenin Moreno, is saying that there is a potential coup d'etat due to the pressure from the former president, Rafael Correa, which is now in Belgium. But the problem is that he has a lot of supporters, a lot of people that is helping him in order to implement like another regime, because we have an unstable democracy at this point in which Rafael Correa and other political actors are willing to have the power in order to withdraw from this agreement with the IMF and other sort of neoliberal measures that the former president is claiming.
And this call for international mediation, could that help to de-escalate?
I would say that yes. For instance, the United Nations have told Ecuadorians and the government that people have the right to protest, but without violence. The issue here is that there have been many infiltrated people that have been looting and committing some problems in industries, public institutions, retail stores, and also cutting some roads. So this blockage and other sort of problems have been putting a lot of pressure into a weak government, which is the Lenin Moreno's one. So the problem is that, okay, we can accept the international mediation and help from the UN or from other human rights institutions, but the issue is here to detect exactly which actors are involved in these protests. Because as I was telling you before, there's a lot of pressure from the former president, Rafael Correa, which is in a sort trying to destabilize the actual regime, which is what Lenin Moreno is claiming.
Juan Diego Valdivieso Rowland, many thanks for joining us from Quito.